So there's something interesting I found with this chapter. Let me know what you think about this. So the shadow, when it possessed Rogue, he basically wasn't in control. He wasn't thinking. It wasn't him. It was the shadow. And while fighting Gajeel, he said something like, "This isn't the Gajeel I know. This Gajeel is foreign to me." And then after that, we see Mavis say that this magic, this shadow magic, is foreign to her. So that leads me to believe that whatever the shadow magic is, whoever it belongs to or whoever it is, it's from the future, and they know Gajeel because the magic is foreign to Mavis, which means that Mavis wouldn't have known about it if it was prior or current. And as far as it, knowing Gajeel, if it's saying, oh, this Gajeel is foreign to me, it means he knows Gajeel or it knows Gajeel, and it's in this particular way. Gajeel never like ate the shadow and never took that form. So this person knows Gajeel. Could it be somebody from Fairy Tail? It got to be somebody close that knows Gajeel to say that this Gajeel is foreign to them. Just saying, that really caught my eye. Now, this particular chapter, the battle between Gajeel and Rogue, it was pretty cool, kick ass. I like seeing that Gajeel just kicked his ass. I mean, we already expect at this point that Rogue, regardless of what, he's no match for Gajeel, especially after he ate the shadow. I mean, really, it was to be expected already at this point. I definitely don't want Rogue and Sting joining Fairy Tail anymore. I remember at one point I did, but they've just already been such disappointments that it's like, what's the point? Why have two lackluster Dragon Slayers with us when we got people like Natsu, Gajeel, Loxus, Erza? We don't really need them. So after this chapter, that's one thing that really came to me, that I just don't want them part of Fairy Tail. They're nothing. So in that aspect, the fight really gave me more clarification as far as how I feel about those particular characters. Now, maybe Sting might impress me with his big plan, so I don't know. But as of right now, I don't really care for them. Gajeel beat the dog shit out of him, so I like that. Gajeel for the win. Love seeing the epic people go in. I'm glad it wasn't over in one swipe, but I wish the fight would have been a lot longer. I felt like the fight was very short, and that's been the whole thing with the Daimao Embu and the Grand Magic games. The fights have been very, very quick. It's like, and it's over. I wish the fights would be a little bit more like, maybe a chapter or two. I wouldn't mind seeing Gajeel maybe have a little problem. We get a little more dialogue, learn a little bit more about the characters during the fight. I wish Hero would do more of that and less of this, these quick fights, because at the end of the day, it takes away from the epicness. Yeah, Gajeel kicked his ass. It was awesome to see Gajeel pissed off and just grabbing him out of the shadows. And I like the way the shadows were going quick. It kind of reminded me of like some DBZ quickness, and it was epic in that aspect. But at the same time, the fight was so short. Rogue didn't even get any hits in, which once again, that just shows that Rogue is worthless, Sting is worthless. They haven't done anything. We'll see when Sting uses his Nakama power up what's going to happen with him. But as of right now, it just proves that Rogue and Gajeel, they never really were much. I mean, Sting and Rogue, not Rogue and Gajeel. Sting and Rogue were never really much. So, it's what it is with them. Why did Hero bring back that filth, the crustiness that is the Garo Knights? I mean, really? I guess I wouldn't mind seeing Natsu beat the dog shit out of them one more time, but come on. I hate those characters. They are hands down, the worst characters in Fairy Tail. They're the worst characters in Fairy Tail, and why bring them back? They're pathetic, they're worthless, worst quote-unquote villains in Fairy Tail. You just got your ass kicked by, all these people. You just got your ass kicked by Wendy. Sit down, okay? So, that was pretty, just, get them out of here, please. Now, Arcadios accusing the princess, he put on his armor, which he looked kind of creepy, honestly. He looked very creepy with that armor. And he says that the princess might be up to something because future Lucy's tears look genuine. So, the thing about it is, though, and I actually researched this, you go to chapter 282, page 20, well, where I read it, it was page 20, they add extra pages sometimes, and Arcadio says something like this, with a grin, an evil grin and everything. The 12 keys are complete, Eclipse will activate completely, Zeruf, oh, which, contradicts him seemingly being good. Maybe he's talking more along the lines of the princess, isn't exactly what he expected or something. There's something going on there, unless the shadow was controlling Arcadios this entire time and he doesn't have any recollection of it. That could be as well, because why would he be screaming Zeroth and laughing and excited and evil mannerism like all those times in the previous chapters? I actually went back and seen it this time because I remember they said it in the anime, but I was like, maybe it's filler. But no, he actually was saying stuff like that. So maybe the Shadow was taking control of Arcadios when doing different things, or sloppy writing. Hero just was like putting in red herrings and then pulling out the red herrings. What you don't do is either a red herring or not. So I'm not sure where's that going. If the princess is evil, it doesn't seem like it at all. She's been written as genuine this entire time. So I don't know what's up with that. With Arcadios acting like he's the good guy to himself, like in his own mind, he's saying maybe the princess is bad when you were screaming, laughing. Zeroth, ha ha ha. I don't know. Overall chapter, it was decent fight. I just like seeing Rogue getting his ass kicked because I don't care for the character anymore. It's like you got this giant power up, and I was hoping like, okay, this is it, and then Gajeel beat him up. So it was cool though. I wish the fight was longer. That's really my gripe. I wish the fight was longer. We could have had more dialogue. We could have learned maybe a little more about the Shadow Beast. We could have learned a lot with like an entire 2 or 3 chapters of the fight. Maybe 2 chapters. Just 2 chapters of this fight. But no. So I give it on a scale of 1 through 5. I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. I like that the battle did like kick Rogue's ass. I hated that the Garu Knights made this that it would not reach a 4 at all. Just seeing the Garu Knights. I'm sorry. I hate the Garu Knights. They're the most worthless characters. And I like the mystery that's been set forth with this whole Shadow Beast and everything. I like that there's more mystery to here. What's going on? There's a lot of like, is this guy bad? Who to trust? There's a lot of that going on. So I like seeing that. And I want to know more about this Shadow Beast and what's going on with the future and whatnot. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this week's chapter. Let me know what you think though. Do you think that Arcadios is actually like out of his mind, that the Shadow was really controlling him? Where's that Shadow came from? Is it from the future? Does it know Gajeel? Who is it? Who do you think is that Shadow? And what did you think of the fight? Do you think that it went down correctly with Gajeel beating the shit out of Rogue? Me personally, I thought it was to be expected. That's exactly what I expected to see, so I wasn't let down this time. And yeah, just overall thoughts of the chapter. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Thumbs up for Gajeel kicking Rogue's ass, because I definitely love seeing that. And thumbs up for the Garwa Knights being garbage. Thumbs up for the Garwa Knights being garbage, because I hate those characters. For the world, and as always, people, have an awesome day.